So never would I have imagined that I would be recording a brain snack on a pandemic.
As the coronavirus crisis deepens,
This week, it's going to get bad.
The anxiety of this situation is really overwhelming.
In this fight against the coronavirus.
New York is looking like it could be pretty bad there if people don't get a handle on things quite soon.
At least 5,000 new cases in the state.
Continues to see a dramatic rise in the number of deaths.
And there have been 22,184 deaths.
And in recent weeks in China and South Korea, the infections are down.
There are not enough people out there who are taking this seriously.
A grim sign this pandemic is far from over.
Tiffany started feeling symptoms 2 weeks ago after 10 days and 4 trips to the ER.
And how the rate of infection is progressing.
The Senate has unanimously passed the largest economic rescue package in its $2 trillion lifeline.
500,000 face masks, 500,000 respirators, 500,000.
They're going up. And they will, say authorities, unless all Americans accept what's at stake.
Extreme social distancing measures may be working.
Well, life as we know it for now is a lot different from just a week or two ago.
Yes, we've had outbreaks, but nothing quite like this has occurred in modern history. So let's try to make sense of it all. Astutely pointed out by Lysol hoarders all over the world, the coronavirus ain't nothing new. In fact, viruses themselves are so old, some scientists believe that they inhabited the world even before life itself was a thing. The first strain of coronavirus was discovered in the 1960s in chickens. Dozens of species have been identified since, and you've likely come in contact with a common strain of coronavirus dozens of times in your life. So why all of this hype about old news? Why is an ancient virus that we've known about since the 1960s bringing entire countries and economies down to their knees? Well, like most viruses that annoy us and kill us, the West Nile virus, HIV, SARS, and all of the many viruses that cause billions of colds, flus, and cases of hepatitis C each year, the virus that causes COVID-19 has an uncanny ability to mutate, to change the genetic material that defines its characteristics. Characteristics like who and what it infects and the damage it does once there. Viruses, which aren't even living things by the way, nothing more than little protein packets of either DNA or RNA, come in 7 major classes. Depending on how exactly their genes are transcribed and translated into the proteins that define their actual traits. Quick biology side note, this fact, known as the central dogma, is true for you as well. All of your cells contain your genes that must be copied onto RNA and then built into the proteins that determine your height, your hair color, your helicase enzymes, all of your traits. Unlike you though, viruses can't make their own proteins. They don't have the equipment. They must infect other cells, like your cells, and use their machinery to mass produce their genes and proteins. This is often devastating for the cellular factories that they use and can be just as dire for the organisms that they belong to. Now, of the 7 major classes of viruses that exist, single-stranded RNA viruses, like our buddy Corona, have the largest genomes and the highest mutation rate. COVID-19 specifically is a mutated version of a coronavirus that's known to inhabit bats. In fact, the majority of coronavirus species discovered and tracked by scientists today have co-evolved with bats for millions of years. This means that bats have some immunity to them, their cells and tissues being much better able to deal with cases of mild or even severe infection, in which case they develop no more than the equivalent of a human cold. Well, in order for COVID-19 to have expanded its host range from just bats to bats and humans, and whatever other middle step animal the scientists believe was involved in that leap, it had to tweak its code. Not consciously, of course, but a random mutation needed to occur in its genetic code in order for it to infect humans for the first time. This isn't the first time that humans have encountered such a bizarre dilemma. The list of diseases transmitted from animals to humans, from anthrax to Zika and everything in between, is long. And again, this isn't even the first coronavirus to make its way inside our bodies and headlines. The highly publicized SARS outbreak of 2003 killed over 750 people. The MERS virus transmitted in 2012 killed almost 500, and 4 more common strains of the coronavirus have been identified in humans. So we're no stranger to this crowned family. But cue in the notorious COVID-19, currently responsible for over 16,000 deaths worldwide. Actually, now it's over 20,000. This thing is on another level. This strain is proving to be especially deadly and especially slippery to medical professionals, as it mutated once more just 2 weeks after its introduction into human life. Slippery is a literal term for fast mutating viruses like COVID-19 and H5N1, which caused the swine flu outbreak. These mutations, which are tiny tiny changes to the RNA molecules inside the virus, resulting in tiny changes in the tiny proteins that coat that virus, can have huge consequences for human beings. Compared to the close cousin corona that caused SARS, the COVID-19 strain has a higher affinity for the protein on human cells that let the virus get in our cells. Known as angiotensin-converting enzyme, or ACE2, this is a membrane protein found in abundance on the cells of our lungs, hearts, and kidneys. This is a protein that the virus binds to in order to gain entry inside our cells. And therefore, these are the tissues that are most susceptible to the damage caused by this virus. This fact is what explains the breathing issues and kidney failures characteristic of the most severe and fatal cases of COVID-19. Now, if humans were like bats and we had the luxury of co-evolving with such a virus for millions of years, our immune systems might recognize the invaders much faster than they do, much quicker than our lung cells stupidly let them in. Nah, I'm just playing. Y'all not stupid. In some cases, where people contract the virus but never develop symptoms, people with particularly robust immune systems, people like kids who currently contract and die from the coronavirus at rates much lower than everybody else. This is what scientists believe occurs, that it's the strength of their immune systems that's saving them, especially since studies show that people with compromised immune systems have a higher risk of dying from this disease. The fact that kids have asthma and allergies at much higher rates than adults is largely because their immune systems are simply more active and sensitive than ours, a trait with obvious evolutionary advantages. But the truth is, we simply don't know why kids get it less than everybody else. There are so many things that we just don't know at this point. That might be the deadliest fact. But running with this idea, the notion that a robust immune system can offer protective benefits against this particular pathogen can't hurt. Taking steps to bolster your immune system, like exercise, which is one of the most powerful ways to do so, getting enough sleep, and eating foods rich in immune-boosting, anti-inflammatory nutrients, can't hurt either. Also, eliminating or moderating things that weaken your immune system, things like stress and nicotine and highly processed foods, can't hurt either. And of course, being intentional about reducing your risk of infection and transmission definitely won't hurt anyone, and in fact will help us all flatten that curve. When you wash your hands for 20 seconds, you physically and chemically break down the envelope that encases that viral genome. The same is true for alcohol-based hand sanitizer and social distancing. Not only does it help curb the spread of this virus, it makes it less likely that we'll pick up other germs that could send us to the ER, which reduces the strain placed on hospital staff and supplies. It makes it less likely that people with severe cases of that Rona and anything else will die. So you can literally save lives by simply staying home. So, a high mutation rate, a high affinity for human cells, and a high amount of things that we're still guessing on, plus a bunch of other social, political, and even economic factors that have fanned the flames of this pandemic. But there's one more thing, one more factor that puts this line of corona on par to be one of the most destructive viruses ever: asymptomatic transmission. This is when people have the virus and show no symptoms of it, but pass it on anyway. Previously, scientists suggested that people that showed no symptoms of the virus played only a small role in its large-scale transmission. But again, they were mainly guessing, largely due to a lack of data. A more recent study conducted in a town in Italy, which currently has the highest death toll in the world, found that 60% of the people there that tested positive for the virus had no symptoms at all. That is lower than the number found in China, but it's in the same ballpark. Though pre-symptomatic persons are about half as contagious as people that show symptoms, they're now thought to be responsible for the majority of further infections. Because one, as the study indicates, they outnumber the people that show symptoms. And because two, they're far more likely to be out and about than a person that is coughing and sneezing, facilitating the spread of these microbes anyway. This is one of the most intelligent things a virus or any microbe can do. Not just keep its host alive, but keep it healthy for as long as possible, thereby maximizing its exposure to resources and future hosts. This fact about the virus may very well be the thing that changes our country, economy, and lives forever. Millions of years of interactions with host cells, plus the constant mutations that allow them to keep switching it up on us, is what makes particular viruses and other microbes so darn tricky and smart. They know that upon infection, our bodies, brains, and behaviors all change to minimize their spread. You see, when you're sick, not only do you consciously become more aware of germs and take more actions to prevent their transmission, but your brain kind of forces you to do so as well. Proteins called cytokines released by your immune system when you're sick literally alter the chemistry of your brain, which not only leads to physiological effects like inducing a fever, but also psychological effects and cognitive impairments. It's hard to concentrate or get motivated when you feel sick. For this reason, you feel crummy and tired and even depressed when you're sick. For this reason, scientists speculate that this brain drain when you're ill is an evolutionary adaptation to not only help the individual preserve energy to get better sooner, but also to protect the individual's social group from that germ, and therefore the entire species from possible extinction. Even your brain is telling you to stay away from people. So listen, so much remains to be seen about this virus, the pandemic that it's caused, and the impact that all of this will have on our daily lives. To me, developing and improving detection, both methods and accessibility, is or should be the top priority if we ever hope to catch up to this genius of a germ. And while we may have to leave that up to the guys and girls in white coats, everyone in this country can and should take every effort possible to slow the spread of COVID-19. I made this video because it's important for Americans and the world to understand the severity and causes of COVID-19 so that they make informed decisions for themselves and everyone else. You have the power to shape what happens next. Not just the government and public officials, you and your family. Our luck with this thing is the result of our collective decisions. The things that we do and don't do in the next coming weeks matter. So please do things to reduce, minimize, eliminate your risk of transmission and infection. This is a virus that can kill you. In fact, current data and estimates make this virus 16 times more likely to kill you than the proverbial flu. Yeah, that chance is higher for some folks than others, and yeah, it might be lower for your age group, but are you really willing to bet your life on that chance? I ain't think so. If you found anything useful or interesting in this video, if you learned something, please like and comment and let me know what it is. I'm a teacher, so I got a lot of time on my hands right now. Talk to me. And if you think someone else would find it useful from the comfort of your home, share your snacks with them. Thank you for watching. I'll see you at snack time.